What if I told you that saving money alone will never make you rich? What if the advice you heard your whole life, save every coin, don't spend, be careful, was only half the truth? And what if the most powerful lesson about money did not come from a rich man, but from a poor grandfather who died with empty pockets and a full understanding of life? Most people believe money grows by hiding it, by locking it away, by protecting it from the world. But money is not a thing, it is a tool, and tools don't work when they sleep. This is not a story about luxury. This is not a story about millions. This is a story about hunger, mistakes, and one old man who learned the truth too late and refused to let his grandson repeat his failure. In a small village where days were slow and dreams were often buried under survival, lived a man everyone called lazy. They laughed at him, they ignored him, they never listened. But hidden inside his silence was a lesson powerful enough to change how you think about money forever. Listen carefully, because this lesson may not make you rich today, but it can change your future forever.
The village was small, so small that everyone knew everyone. And in this village lived an old man with tired eyes and slow steps. His clothes were always worn. His house was simple, no paint, no decoration, no comfort. People whispered when he passed, "Lazy. He had big dreams once. He wasted his life. If he were smart, he wouldn't be poor." The villagers believed one thing very strongly: if you are poor, you must have failed. And the old man never argued. Every morning, he sat outside his house, watching people rush to work, watching young men complain, watching children dream loudly. And while others talked, he stayed quiet, because silence was cheaper than explaining regret. You see, long before his hair turned gray, this man also dreamed big. He believed dreaming was enough. He believed waiting was safe. He believed saving money without action was wisdom. And that belief cost him everything. The villagers saw an old, broken man, but what they couldn't see were the nights he stayed awake, counting not money, but missed chances. He remembered moments when he had a little money, a little strength, a little time, and did nothing. "I'll wait," he told himself. "I'll save more. I'll start later." Later never came. Now he sat with empty hands and a full mind. But fate had not finished with him yet, because every afternoon his grandson came to visit. A boy with bright eyes, a boy with loud dreams, a boy standing at the exact same place the grandfather once stood. And as the old man looked at the boy, he didn't see hope. He saw a warning. Because the most painful truth in life is watching someone repeat the mistake that broke you. And this time, the grandfather decided to speak. Not to complain, not to blame life, but to pass on the one lesson that could save his grandson from becoming just another poor old man with a silent story. And that lesson was not about saving money. It was about making it work.
The boy talked a lot. Every day, his dreams changed. One day, he wanted to be rich. Another day, famous. Another day, respected by everyone in the village. His words were loud. His plans were big. But his actions were always tomorrow. The grandfather listened quietly, not because the dreams were foolish, but because he had once spoken the same way. The boy said, "Grandfather, one day I will leave this village. One day I will have a big house. One day I won't struggle like you." The old man smiled. Not a happy smile, a familiar one. because dreams without action are just comfortable lies. The boy spent his days waiting for opportunity, waiting for luck, waiting for the right moment. But life does not reward waiting. Life rewards movement. The grandfather watched the boy waste time the same way he once did, saving small coins, hiding them away, believing safety would create success. But safety never builds a future. It only protects the present. One evening, as the sun disappeared behind the hills, the grandfather finally spoke. He didn't shout, he didn't lecture. He asked one question. "Tell me," he said softly, "what will your dreams feed you when you are hungry?" The boy laughed. He thought the old man didn't understand ambition. But the grandfather understood ambition very well. He just understood failure better. That night, the old man couldn't sleep. He remembered how his dreams once felt powerful until hunger made them useless. And he knew something painful. If he stayed silent, the boy would grow old with nothing but stories. And so the grandfather decided it was time to break the lie that dreaming alone changes lives. The next morning, the grandfather called the boy to sit beside him. The air was quiet. The village was waking up. The boy expected a lecture, a warning, a speech about saving money. Instead, the old man said something that shocked him. "Never just save money." The boy frowned. "What do you mean? Everyone says saving is the key." The grandfather picked up a small stone from the ground. "This stone," he said, "will look the same tomorrow, next year, and forever." Then he picked up a seed. "This seed," he continued, "will become food if you give it work." The boy was silent. The old man looked him in the eyes. "Money is not a stone," he said. "It is a seed. If you hide it, nothing happens. If you fear losing it, nothing grows." The boy felt confused. Saving felt safe. Using money felt risky. And the grandfather understood that fear, because fear had once ruled his own life. "I saved my money," the old man continued. "I protected it. I waited for the perfect moment. But money grows only when it moves." The boy asked quietly, "What if I lose it?" The grandfather smiled sadly. "You already lose it," he said, "to time, to fear, to waiting." Silence filled the space between them. Then the old man spoke words the boy would never forget. "Dreams don't fail," he said. "People fail to act." That day, the boy realized something uncomfortable. Everything he believed about money was incomplete, and everything the village believed about the old man was wrong, because the poorest man there was teaching the richest lesson of all. And this lesson was only the beginning. That night, the grandfather did not sleep. The village was quiet. No footsteps, no voices, only memories. He sat alone, staring at the ceiling, watching shadows move like old thoughts. For the first time in years, he decided to tell the truth, not to the village, but to himself. "I was not unlucky," he whispered. "I was afraid." He remembered the first chance life gave him. A friend once invited him to join a small business. It was nothing big, just a simple trade. He had the money, but fear spoke louder than opportunity. What if I lose it? What if I fail? What if people laugh? So he said no. He saved the money instead. Weeks passed, then months. His friend grew, the small trade became a stable living, and the grandfather stayed exactly where he was. Then came the second chance. Someone offered to teach him a skill, free. All it required was time and effort. But effort felt heavy, and time felt endless. "I'll learn later," he said. Later never came. As the years passed, the money he saved disappeared slowly, not in growth, but in emergencies. Sickness, broken tools, unexpected needs. Money that does not grow only waits to be consumed. And one night, as hunger sat beside him like an old friend, the grandfather finally understood. He didn't fail because life was unfair. He failed because he waited for safety instead of progress. Tears filled his eyes, not because he was poor, but because he had been capable and chose comfort over courage. And now he was old, and time was no longer patient.
Hunger is a cruel teacher. It doesn't shout, it doesn't threaten, it just stays. The grandfather remembered the first time he went to bed without food. Not because he was lazy, not because he didn't work, but because saving alone had failed him. He lay on the floor, his stomach empty, his mind loud. Dreams don't taste good when you're hungry. Plans don't keep you warm, only action does. He realized something painful that night. Money saved without purpose has no loyalty. It will leave you when life demands payment. From that day on, the grandfather stopped believing in waiting. But by then, his strength was gone. His body was tired. His chances were fewer. That is the tragedy of fear. It teaches late. He learned the truth after life had already taken the price. And that is why, when he looked at his grandson, his voice trembled. He was not angry at the boy. He was afraid for him, because he knew how easily dreams turn into excuses, and how quietly waiting turns into regret. The grandfather promised himself one thing. If he could not change his past, he would change the boy's future. Because wisdom means nothing if it dies with you. And so, from that pain, a new lesson was born. Not about saving money, but about moving it, using it, and giving it purpose. And the next lesson would begin with something very small, a single coin.
The grandfather reached into his pocket and pulled out a single coin. It was small, worn, almost worthless to most people. He placed it in the boy's hand. "This," he said, "is not money." The boy looked confused. "Then what is it?" he asked. "It is a question," the grandfather replied. "What will you do with it?" The boy smiled. "One coin can't change anything." The grandfather nodded. "That is what I believed too." He pointed toward the road that led out of the village. "Every big thing," he said, "starts small. A river begins as a drop. A tree begins as a seed. And wealth begins as movement." The boy thought saving the coin was the smart choice. Hide it, protect it, keep it safe. But the grandfather shook his head. "If you hide it," he said, "you learn nothing. If you use it, you gain experience, even if you fail." He explained something the boy had never heard before. Money has one job: to work. If it doesn't work, it slowly loses value. To time, to hunger, to fear. The grandfather gave simple rules. Don't chase big profit. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't fear small mistakes. Just make the coin move, he said. The boy held the coin tightly. For the first time, money felt heavy, not because of its value, but because of responsibility. And with that small coin, the boy stood at the beginning of a new life.
That night, the boy could not sleep. The coin lay beside him. It was so small, yet it felt like a decision that could change everything. What if I lose it? What if I fail? What if grandfather is wrong? Fear grows loud when you're about to move forward. The boy realized something painful. He wasn't afraid of losing money. He was afraid of losing comfort, because saving feels safe. Action feels dangerous. The next morning, his hands shook as he stood up. He could still turn back. No one would blame him. But then he remembered the grandfather's eyes. Not angry, not demanding, just hopeful. So he took the step. He used the coin to start something small. Nothing impressive, nothing guaranteed, just movement. And something strange happened. The fear didn't disappear, but confidence appeared beside it. Because courage doesn't come before action, it comes after. That day, the boy learned a lesson no book could teach him. You don't wait to feel ready, you act, and readiness follows. And as the boy walked home, empty-handed but stronger, he realized something important. He had already gained more than the coin was ever worth. He had broken the habit of waiting, and that habit was the real poverty.
Days passed, then weeks. The boy kept moving. Not fast, not perfectly, but consistently. Sometimes the coin returned to him slightly bigger. Sometimes it didn't. But every time, the boy returned wiser. He learned where people needed help. He learned what sold and what didn't. He learned that effort always leaves a mark, even when profit doesn't come immediately. One evening, he sat beside his grandfather again. This time, his hands were not empty. He placed a few coins on the ground. Not many, but more than before. The grandfather did not smile at the money. He smiled at the boy. Because growth is not measured by coins, but by confidence. The boy spoke softly. "I understand now," he said. "When I saved, nothing happened. When I acted, life responded." The grandfather nodded. "That is how money speaks," he replied. "It listens to movement." The boy realized something important. Money does not reward intention, it rewards involvement. The village began to notice, not because the boy was rich, but because he was changing. He walked differently, he spoke differently, he waited less. And for the first time, the boy saw money not as something to fear, but as something to guide. The coin didn't just come back bigger, the boy did. The grandfather sat straighter now, not because he had more money, but because he had peace. "You see," he told the boy, "money is like a worker. If you give it no job, it sits and does nothing. If you give it purpose, it brings friends." The boy listened carefully. The grandfather explained simply, "You don't invest only in business, you invest in skills, in tools, in learning, in effort. Money follows value," he said, "not wishes." The boy finally understood what the village never taught him. Saving protects you from today. Action prepares you for tomorrow. The grandfather looked out toward the village. "Most people," he said, "are not poor because they lack money. They are poor because they fear losing it." The boy felt those words deeply. Fear had kept his grandfather waiting. Action was setting him free. That was the difference. And now the boy had a choice: to return to safety or to continue forward. But once you feel growth, you can never go back to waiting, because movement changes something inside you. And from that moment on, the boy no longer asked, "How much money do I have?" He asked, "What can I make it do?"
Time moved quietly. The boy grew older, not suddenly, not loudly, but steadily. He didn't become rich overnight. He didn't escape struggle completely, but he was no longer trapped. And the grandfather grew weaker. His steps slowed. His voice softened. One afternoon, they sat together, watching the sun fall behind the village. The boy spoke with gratitude in his voice. "Grandfather," he said, "you gave me more than money." The old man smiled. That was always the plan. He looked at the boy's hands, hands that no longer waited, hands that worked. "I could not leave you wealth," the grandfather said gently, "but I could leave you understanding." The boy realized something powerful in that moment. Money ends, wisdom continues. The villagers still saw a poor old man, but the boy saw a teacher who changed a future. When the grandfather passed, there was no inheritance, no land, no gold, but the boy never felt poor, because he carried a lesson stronger than money. Never let your resources sleep. Make them work, make them grow, make them serve a purpose. And that lesson changed everything. You may not have much money today. You may feel small, unprepared, afraid. But remember this story. The change didn't start with a fortune. It started with a coin. Saving alone feels safe, but safety never builds the future. Dreaming feels good, but dreams don't move without action. The grandfather's lesson was simple. Money grows only when it works, and it works only when you move. Right now, you are holding your own coin. It may be time, it may be skill, it may be effort, it may be belief. The question is not how much you have. The question is, what will you do with it? If this story touched you, don't just save it. Use it. Move forward. And one day, someone will ask you how you changed your life. And you will smile and say, "It started with something small."